are here with the hottest couple in the NWO. Sydney LaRue and Merritt.
We are the hottest couple.
We really are.
That was our guess the guess clue.
Oh. Hell yeah. I hope people guess it.
I'm sure they did.
Yeah. I feel like Woso's like on it. They're going to know right away.
How did it feel coming out as not a couple?
I don't know, Mare. How was it?
Was it devastating?
It was a little devastating. I've never been turned down. I haven't been turned down much. So
And so publicly.
I know, and so publicly.
It
I've
was.
just been turned down. I mean, when Sid hit the hard launch with like her current
Oh, yeah.
man, I was like, man, that hurt. That
Yeah.
hurts a little bit.
Tough.
Falling off that pedestal is not easy.
Well, there's still a lot of love there.
No, there's so much love. I think it's a really funny bit. I think we
Yeah, it
still
was
stay
hilarious.
committed to it
Yeah, we
in our
did.
own way. And
really
What is that way?
yeah, and honestly, I think everyone just wants it to be true.
Yeah. Yeah. It would be a great love story.
Like it would just be, it would set NWSL on fire.
Oh
I think.
my gosh.
Press
I do.
always said that. She was like, Sid, if you were a lesbian, the internet would shut down.
Yeah.
Yes.
You would shut it down.
Yeah.
Just think about it.
Okay, fine. Sorry, Dave.
Yeah.
Dave.
Dave, you're out. I'm in.
Uncle came from Steph McCaffrey in Chicago.
Wow.
Yeah. And it was, I basically was just like the person that everyone called to like come do, like if your car broke down, if you needed pictures hung in your apartment, if you needed to get picked up or dropped off at the airport. I think you got stuck with a flat tire with your bike one time, or like the seat was too high, too
Who are you
low.
gonna call?
And like,
Uncle.
so it was
I
like,
feel very responsible for your nickname because when you're saying all the things that people in Chicago asked you, I'm pretty sure it was me every single time.
probably.
Do you remember when you assembled my bike?
Yeah.
I feel like you
And then I got to the
assembled it
last.
wrong.
I didn't assemble it wrong. I got to the last part, and a piece was bent, and I carried it to the bike shop the next day
on her back.
because I was so mad that I
That
couldn't
is
do
such
it.
an Alyssa
I
story.
finished the whole thing.
Yeah.
And I felt very validated though when I brought it to the bike shop, and he's like, "Yeah, you never would have been able to do this."
You did feel validated.
I was like, "I'm gonna figure this out."
Was there ever a paycheck that you received that you did spoil yourself?
Of course. I love things. Like, I hate that about myself. I'm like, I don't want to be that, like, materialistic person. I love things so
Yeah.
much. I love bags. I love shoes. I love clothes. I like cars. So, yes.
Amazing.
But don't make me answer what it
Well,
was.
Well, I was just thinking you can embrace that about yourself because
Yeah.
it's written in the stars. I was recently learning about astrology, and that type of like quirk is like destined for you.
Okay.
And it really helped. That's what I like about astrology now is because I was like, oh, like,
Justifies all your
yeah,
spending.
exactly. Like, oh, I'm a little like loud and bossy. But then it was like, but that was my destiny. What am I going to do about it? You can't fight the
It's so
stars.
real.
So you like stuff.
Yeah.
That's just for you.
That's who I am.
I remember back, and like you're not going to remember this, and you can use the header thing. Too many headers.
Too many headers.
We had Abby Wambach on the show. She said the same thing, and Kristen and I, we can't relate to that.
Definitely not
Your
too many
brains are
headers.
still there. That's why you
We
guys are so
don't
smart.
remember too many things either, for other reasons. But okay, so I was a young player. You were this veteran player at the time for me, and I remember it was one of my first camps, and I saw the rooming list, and it was like Shannon, Boxx, and I was like, oh no. Couldn't I just be with somebody just like a little bit more like disheveled or something?
Disheveled.
So I'm like, okay, here we go. Like, and all I'm thinking to myself is like, just copy what she does. So
That's a good plan, right? It's a great plan.
I mean, little Tobin, she like, there was something going on in here. And so I remember like you would start getting ready for bed, and it was like it was early in my mind. Very professional. It was early in my mind. I'm a night owl, okay? And I remember like you started getting ready for bed, and I was like, just like immediately like I'm getting ready for bed. So I'm getting ready for bed, and you like get into bed. I get in bed. We turn off the lights, and I just remember just laying there, just like completely wide awake, just being like, "This is what you got to do. This is what you got to do.
Just turn on a light.
That is amazing.
And that's just like,
I'm so sorry. I think everybody was
it's the
so afraid of
respect.
me, though. I think it's so funny.
It wasn't afraid. I think it was respect. I guess fear and respect can reverence.
Okay, that's much better.
No,
word.
you had a great reputation.
Jen, you and I know each other like really well. We played for Arsenal together. I was like, when I was first telling Christen about you, I'm like, Jen is just like so cool. She's like the coolest. But like you guys hadn't met. You had met a couple times.
Including the recent time when you were just dying to meet Justin Bieber.
I knew that you were going to stitch me up on this. I knew coming in. I was like, yeah,
Got
no,
it.
seriously. Are we telling the story?
Yeah, you tell the story.
Okay.
However
Wait, that's
colorfully
hilarious.
you'd like.
Okay, that's funny. Well, obviously I was excited to meet him. I was down at the Arsenal game at SoFi Stadium. Obviously, I knew you guys were going to be there. I got told when I arrived into my suite that I was kind of like, who's going to be in it? And I got told by the Arsenal staff that maybe Justin Bieber would be arriving. And I was just like, sorry, what? I'm in the wrong suite here. Like, absolutely, there's no chance. And then I didn't get to catch you before. But from my suite, I could see you guys. So when he'd arrived, I was just like, I'm gonna go around and say hi. And then, I just super casually slipped in to conversation that Justin Bieber was in my suite, and it was you.
Yeah, because I totally was
all
like,
you.
I was like, oh, is he just chilling? Like, nah, it's chill. Like,
Yeah.
whatever.
Yeah, but I was just like, do you wanna come over? And but straight away, it was so funny though, because you were like, we were all desperate. Yeah, I was never in a million years am I going up to Justin Bieber and asking for a picture. But who was it? It was all Tobin.
It was Tobin. It was so funny because like
Tobin.
you secretly wanted to happen. I like unashamed was like, we're going to meet Justin Bieber. It's Justin Bieber.
Yeah.
It's not just like
Wait, what
any
did you-
celebrity.
yeah, what did
I
you
love
say?
the whole plan. The
I
whole
was
plan
just
was
like,
great.
look, there's like celebrities and then there's Justin Bieber. Like, we're going to go meet Justin Bieber. Like, I don't know how to put it any other way.
Yeah.
And so then I was like really confident. I was like, I'm going to go do this. Like, that's fine. Then we get over there and I was like, I'm not doing this. I feel like a little girl. Like, I'm not doing this.
Right?
And then our dear Tobin was smooth.
So
Well,
funny.
I felt like maybe because I didn't have the same like, oh my gosh, feeling that I was like, wow, I really have to. I really wanted to play the hero. I really wanted to make this moment
You were.
happen for
You
you
were,
guys.
Tobin.
You didn't just play the hero, you were the hero.
I was.
Yeah.
That makes me feel really great.
I don't think me and Kristen said a
No,
peep, to be
no.
honest.
We were just like-
we're just like taking the world's worst picture of the
I know, it was so bad.
Yeah, but yeah.
No, we could have got that lighting right on that photo.
Yeah.
You guys are so cute. It's like little girls at a
Beebs.
Justin Bieber concert.
He was awesome though. Like he was so sweet. I thought he was so nice. But yeah, thank you, Tobin. Officially,
Yeah,
I get
we
to
owe
thank you
you.
now.
Wow, thank you publicly. Wow, I really do feel like a hero.
So what we just learned here, folks, is words to live by.
Yeah.
Am I having fun and am I growing? Like those are your checklists.
Yeah.
Like if I had lived
You love a checklist.
words, I would have had a way smoother life. Mine was that was not how I was thinking. I also cannot believe that you remember U8 to U11 so well.
No,
These
it's
were like pivotal years in your life.
that's what I'm saying. Like whenever someone talks about my past, like I literally go to U8 through U11. Like my growing up.
What happened?
Like that's when I fell in love with the sport. My coach did not care about winning. He could care less. He cared about all of us having fun. Using skill. He's like, how many scissors can you do in this game? Like
It's
if
amazing.
you do the most scissors in this game, like I'll give you like a magic wand. Like that was his thing. Or if I see something that you tried that's
wand?
new.
I love this guy.
I have like 3 wands. Like still, yeah, like doing different skill and
This is what
Like-
it's about,
like-
folks. Let me stay in your house
Mm-hmm.
as like a teenager, basically.
Mm-hmm.
You let me drive your car
Mm-hmm.
in LA,
Mm-hmm.
and you're just like, yeah, sure. I
And
was out
Abby
here
wasn't
playing.
there?
No, she was in the East Coast.
you were there the whole time.
I was playing on a semi-pro team,
Pally Blues.
Pally Blues,
Yeah.
on the West Coast, and I said, hey, can I stay at your place? And you were like, yeah, cool.
Yeah, that was a different time of my life. That was a different time of my life. Yes. I do have a follow-up question about this.
Yeah.
Because when I went to go sell that car,
Oh, no.
when I went to go sell that car,
Oh, it's coming.
somebody, the person he was like, "Oh, this car had a wreck," and I was like, "No, I've actually never wrecked this car. Like, what are you talking about?" He's like, "Oh no, the back. Let me show you the different colors of paint." And he showed me the thing.
Oh my God, this is amazing.
And I was like thinking to myself, it was either Ari, my friend Ari, who lived in my house for a while, or it was Tobin.
And
like,
you two have never spoken about this
No,
before?
no.
It was Ari. It was Ari, and let's leave it at that.
I'm
scared.
I
I'm sweating over here.
I can genuinely say I did not wreck your car.
Great.
But you let someone drive it that did.
No.
Oh, okay. She has said legally what she's going to say.
The truth. She knows exactly how I get around the car. And I do not know who.
You don't know?
No.
Oh, thank God.
I also remember like a level of vulnerability that you showed and that you also like brought out from us. I would say that for me, like the way I kind of see myself is I try to come into my environment and be very professional and very polished. And I remember you saying something like, "Oh, you're lucky it's COVID because sometimes I bring in giant spiders." And I was like, "Oh, thank God it's COVID." Because I wouldn't want necessarily the group to be able to see me like outside of my comfort zone.
We did a lot of stuff before you guys got there. And I remember someone saying, "I don't think Kristen's going to want to do that," you know? And we did like zip wiring UK Ninja. We did bring in like big snakes and spiders. We did sumo wrestling.
Are you still into that?
We didn't do it as much here. I'm still into it because I think taking people out of their comfort zone sometimes is a really, because then you see people's different parts of their character. We're vulnerable together. Like, I can't stand spiders. I can't. And I held a tarantula and I'm like, these girls are seeing me at my weakest right now, you know? And sometimes that's it, like a real good thing, just to put the ball away. Be people together, learn a little bit of new stuff about each other. And it's definitely something, you know, if and when I get back in, it's something that I will be looking to do again because I think it's just such a unique way of bringing people together.
Yeah.
My dad called your wedding the queer icon wedding of the century. There's a lot of pressure. That's my dad. Okay.
He's like, "Can you get a photo?" With the gal?
Yeah. He was like, "Can I come?" I was like, "No."
You could have. There was space.
No.
No, beautiful wedding, beautiful celebration. I'll never forget it. Obviously, things have changed, but when we decided to come out was when I think it was after the 2-year hiatus that I wasn't with the team, and I was like, F it. What do I have to lose? What are they gonna fire me again? Like, okay, like bring it on. I'm rolling my sleeves up. Like here we go. But at that point, I felt like let's come out and showcase that it is normal and it is okay to be in a partnership, and we can still be professional and have everything we wanted to have.
Did you get backlash?
Surprisingly, no. I mean, yeah, there's a few people here, but I feel like everyone already kind of knew.
I was going
it
to
was
say,
just
we
us.
already had, like, we had known that you and Ash were together and had protected
Since day
that.
one,
And we had protected that space within, you know, the sanctity of what the national team was and that family that we had cultivated. But it wasn't, like you said, until you had left the national team that you felt like you could be more public about it.
Yeah. And I was like, unsure if I would ever get back to the national team. So I was living in the sense of like, okay, I'm onto the, you know, yes, it's still in my mind. I'm still working towards that. But if not,
there was some freedom there.
Yeah, there's freedom and I could just be who I wanted to be and who I always wanted to be.
Did you also feel like there was like this where like you didn't want to ever detract from what the national team was and what the main focus of the national team is, which is to win world championships.
Yes. And I also didn't want to disrupt our safe environment where we all felt like, you know, because you're coworkers initially. At the end of the day, like you don't have to be best friends. Like you're there to do a job. Yeah. And you just have to figure out a professional way to work together.
Yeah.
And you're aiming for a common goal. Yeah. That's what it's about. So yeah, it was difficult because I felt like I didn't want it to be about her and I. I wanted it to be about the task at hand.
Yeah, and that's
and
actually
so we were
quite,
very professional, and I made that clear to her too. I'm like, listen, it's not like you can't like hold my hand and train. You know, sorry, like in and around camp, but like let's make sure we're like showing up as coworkers.
The most professional, I think.
That might have been more on my side.
Yeah, I mean,
but
and also like I think people have to know like. a locker room, there is just insane crazy stuff that happens within a locker room, like let alone just like this seemed actually like the most normal thing compared to what we endured
Like
in
what?
our locker room that we just kept as our safe space.
Oh, you mean like
you know,
between
you know,
the relationships of all the players?
yeah, just the relationships with all the players, outside like pressures that are going on within players and
I know
their
people actually
relationships.
knew half the stuff.
Yeah,
I mean,
people. Yeah, and I think
just in our
I'm
bubble.
like, you guys are like painting this picture.
You're like,
I'm
what
wait, what happened?
Like,
But you
what
mean like people writing books and tabloids and all the drama that like stirs up and fighting and all that. Okay.
yeah, like all of the things that like you know you just protect within a locker room,
okay.
and I
so
think
we
like
can't say it. Got it.
I just think like your relationship was like
that
one
might
of
be
those.
for another show. The deets and the goss
That's
of
for
the
sure
U.S.
for a
Women's
book.
National Team.
Yeah. Can you write it? I can
My-
co-author it.
Everybody wants to write
I
it, but
know.
nobody will, right?
No, someone will.
Becky always said she was going to.
Becky
always said she was going
That'd
to.
be like a
candidate.
Bridgerton, like what is the lady on Bridgerton who
Yeah.
writes all
Oh,
the
yeah,
like
the
secret,
tell-all.
the tell-all.
Yeah, I would say like the gift of faith was such a blessing in my career, like at such a young age, like having done like a very different path, but like having those same types of like stepping stones that kind of took the pressure off myself, you know, and said like, oh, well, whatever's supposed to happen, like will happen.
Yeah.
And like at the end of the day, you can kind of put like you go out and play and then you can put your head on the pillow or like you're in front of a camera and you know it's for something more. It almost takes the stress off of you. So when you think of what you're doing at 17 years old, which is way beyond the things that Christen and I were doing at 17 years old with
Well,
the
I
kind
was
of
at
pressure. Christen was at prom.
That's important
And that's
too.
fine too.
Which is a
And
lot of
that's fine,
pressure.
too.
It was a lot of pressure. Who was
It
the
was a
prom
lot of
queen?
pressure keeping up with people in those dresses. I'm like,
I
I'm
know.
sorry, but I would not have looked that good. I would have looked a mess, you guys. And I'm like, no, I gotta wait for Gorden to ask me to go to prom, and that just don't feel right.
I know.
Yeah.
That I
Right.
wouldn't go back to.
I think it's probably different now, right? Is it still like that? Like, come on, like prom is different than when we went to prom.
How would you know?
I'm just thinking this is a big gap. Like, let's just like
a big
pull
gap.
out the big elephant in the room. There's a big gap here between proms. Like, you know, when you look at those
Between
like
hypothetical proms.
like black and white. Yeah, I mean,
my actual
her
prom and your hypothetical prom.
My prom, I think we did it at a national team camp. It was like me, Kelly.
Oh, this is a nice blend.
And we like
so you
literally
also
we
missed
did a
prom,
fake,
but
we
you
did
pretended.
yeah, we did a fake prom at national team camp.
Well, you guys did a fake prom. Well, not a fake, but like a
Oh,
tunnel.
we did one for Alyssa.
I was like, that was cute, and you know what? That is her. I love that for her. I love that for her. I would have been insanely awkward. That wouldn't have worked for me. I'm like, you guys, I'm glad we just didn't do it.
Yeah.
Now I gotta go find a dress. Now I gotta. Dang,
Oh
I
yeah,
gotta
she had a
reshape my
dress. She
legs.
went to prom.
Did
she
she?
played in a game. The whole team dressed up in their dresses for her for the walk-in, and then she immediately left the field when she got subbed in the 60th minute and went and changed in the locker room.
No,
and
see,
showered and
I
went
was
to prom.
witnessing that with my club team. They were like, guys, I gotta leave at halftime. I have prom tonight. And I'm like, excuse me?
I know.
You better just leave us high and dry. You gotta make me do everything.
You're like, this is my career.
Like, come
I'm a
on. You know who's
professional.
watching this? What? But I mean, if it works for you, shoot, kudos to you. Like, I just couldn't do both, but you know what? Y'all turned
You're
out
doing
just
it.
fine.
Yeah,
Turned
we all
out
have
just fine.
our own paths, and I actually love hearing your path.
Me
because,
too.
Yeah, it's really unique and it's really joyful, and it got you there.
I don't know if you saw this, but I spotlit you on one of your games.
Okay, pause. Spotlit, is that the past tense of spotlight?
Did you legitimately pause?
Wait, that's so funny.
I spotlighted.
Thank you. Go ahead, continue.
Is that really it? Okay, I spotlighted you on one of our previous episodes, and I said you are a player with a silky left foot.
Thank you. That's good to hear from you.
True or false? Do you have a silky left foot?
Well, what does silky mean?
Mean?
Like, yeah, like what? How would you define that?
You mean, how would you describe silky?
I would never say silky.
Like silky smooth, like Pantene Pro V, like but for
Okay.
skills in soccer. You know?
Thanks. I mean,
Effortless.
yeah, I feel like I'm very left-footed though. So the right one doesn't work, but yeah, I'll take it with the left. Yeah.
Give us like the worst parenting story. And then maybe like how you weren't
Do you want to actually
supported.
know a good story?
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
it was you.
Yeah.
It was my first year. I had to bring Caden to practice because he was like 2 at the time because I didn't have a babysitter. And he was running around yelling, like throwing a tantrum. And I was like, I have to leave. Like, I have to. He was going crazy. And then Christen texted me and she was like, it's like, I am just so proud of like what you're doing. And it's okay. If you need anything, just let me know, blah, blah, blah. It was a few weeks in, but it meant so much to me because I like at the time felt so alone and like I couldn't ask for things.
Yeah.
So that was a good parenting story.
Oh, I don't remember that. This makes me so proud of who I was. Go me.
It's funny because I was actually going to ask like for like an early impression that you had of Christen, because obviously you guys were in Chicago and kind of the beginning of this whole thing. But that was a really good one. I was expecting a different one.
Oh, I have a different one too. Okay, so it was my first start and we were at Orlando and I was defending my ass off. I was so bad my rookie year, but it was one of those games where I just blacked out and I was actually defending well. So I took the ball off Marta and I kicked it away. And Christen looks at me and screams and she's like, "Get your head in the game." And I was like, "Yes, ma'am. I'm so sorry.
Shit, I just did a good thing. What's wrong with her?
You're like, it is.
But I was probably also in a rage blackout. So like,
Yeah, but it was funny.
Do you
That makes
remember
sense.
when you were driving like a rinkety car? And
I
at this
loved that
point,
car.
you
just upset her.
At this point, you were like making like enough money to not be driving this rinkety car. And
It
I'm pretty
wasn't
sure
that
like broke down.
rinkety.
It broke down or something. Like something happened to it. And I remember Christen and I like telling you like you really need to splurge.
Yeah, but I loved that car. It was like the first adult purchase I ever made
Oh,
when I was in Boston.
yeah.
Because that previous car did break down on the side of the road. So I needed to buy. But it was a gift from my parents from graduation. We had made a bet with each other on my very first visit to Penn State, ironically. And I was like, "Hey, so if I can get a full scholarship to college, like you'll buy me a car for graduation, right?" They're like, "Sure." Deal. And I was like, but then I did. And I was like, "Hey, remember that kind of fake, kind of real bet that we made?" And they're like, "Yeah, okay." So I got a car for graduation.
Wow.
But it lasted great through college. But then my rookie season, I broke down on the side of the road. And this is like pre-real, like couldn't call an Uber, couldn't call like different stuff. So I was like kind of stuck.
Couldn't call uncle.
Couldn't call uncle.
because you were uncle.
Yeah, so I... Jeez.
That person that explains jokes.
Oh, sorry. Okay.
Cut this. Will you share a little bit about that, Merritt, what you were sharing with me before,
Yeah.
and also how you think Sid has played that role in women's soccer in a way?
Absolutely. So funny enough, Sid and I, this was a road, so Sid and I roomed together on road trips because we're a couple.
Roomies.
I love her. Y'all know how that goes, don't you? Well played, you guys. Well played. We took a little note from your playbook, and it works. Actually, no one asked us shit.
Yeah.
So anyway, we're laying in bed together watching those small.
Want more of the recap show? Never miss an episode by subscribing on YouTube and wherever you get your podcasts.